is Wednesday, the 6th of July. Welcome back to Central Valley Talk Live. This is our midweek edition. Thank you for joining us. Austin Reed coming to you from our Tower District studios inside the Mike Briggs building. We thank you as always for joining us. Highs today across the Central Valley in the low 90s, so we will take that. The weekend, it looks like we're going to get back up to the hundreds. So I'm not complaining because it is officially summer, and this time last year, I feel like we were already seeing around 110, 112, so not going to complain. We have a number of guests in store for you today, so make sure you stay with us as we celebrate what's great about the Central Valley, including artists and authors, which you see during the 11 o'clock hour on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And joining us now, our first guest, second time on Central Valley Talk. Give it up for... Tell everybody your first and last name as I'm going to try to hold this up and angle it.
Kathleen Gorman, and the title of my book is Twisty Green Monster.
Twisty Green Monster. So crazy. So you taught at Webster. Mm-hmm. That's where my daughters go to school in Madera Ranchos. Oh yeah, you didn't know that, huh?
Yeah, I know that. I didn't know they go there. But...
Yeah. Oh yeah, they go to Webster.
Okay.
They're doing Webster as well. So, but your daughter is Alex, who was friends with, or still is friends with my wife.
Yes.
This is like, what the heck? And your grandma too.
And
so
a grandma.
Anona.
I
like that. Yes. Kathy writes for thenumberkids.com. This is now your...
Oh, this was my second book, but I have 4 books out.
You have 4 books now. Okay, so let's talk about this one, Twisty Green Monster. By the way, pictures are by Shelby Velaz? Velaz,
yes.
Okay.
She is a watercolorist, and she told me, illustrating this book, she used up all of her green paint and her imagination coming up with little green, big green monsters kids might imagine while listening to this story. So when I introduce a story, I always tell kids it is about my own life. And somebody finally said, you know, Mrs. Gorman, does that mean it's autobiographical? It is. It's a story of something that happened to me in my life. So it started out as... This one started out as a challenge at a writing conference I went to. The instructor in the session said, I want everybody in the room to come up with a spooky title that could end up being an interesting story. And for some odd reason, Twisty Green Monster popped into my head.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And then I had to remember a Twisty Green Monster and come up with a story to go with it.
Right.
So this book deals with fears, deals with bullies, and it also deals with overcoming your fears. Mm-hmm. And in the case of this story, Mikey has, Timmy's this little guy, Timothy Taylor Thomas, has this fear. And it's a monster that lurks outside, it's a big bully that lurks outside his classroom window every day. So the book is sequential. It goes Monday through Friday in school. So there's a lot of education behind it. And the kids love seeing all these different monsters. But the cover shows a dragon, I believe, and so everybody thinks the book's about a dragon. But it's not about a dragon. Now, I've read it to kindergarten, and I've read it to 6th grade. And after I read this story, I get different opinions about what they think the story was. What's the main idea? Little ones just say there's a monster. That's all that's their concept, is there's a monster. Older kids tell me it's a story about bullying. And they're right in a way, because this monster is a bully. And I don't know if I'm supposed to give it away or not, but...
No, don't give it away.
Yeah, no.
Don't give it away, because because I can't wait to read this to my daughters. By the way, they loved the book you gave to them last, which was What Is in a Name, right?
Yeah. Did you take them to the...
I haven't yet. I need to. I know. I'm going to.
Okay.
I think didn't we have those people on?
The... Heritage Fresno?
Yeah, I think we actually had them on a couple months ago or something. So, but yeah, we haven't been out there.
Okay.
It's something to see.
Yes, it is. I should take pictures.
So, now, how long did this take?
This book took about 4 years from the concept, just the little being of the Twisty Green Monster. And then I had to think about where was it, how did it happen, there has to be a problem, there has to be a solution, how does he overcome his fear? And from beginning to end, with the help of my Sassy Scribes writing group, which is a critique group I'm in, I was able to come up with a theme. And one of my friends gave me the character's full name. He was always Timmy to me, and we had increased it to Timothy Taylor Thomas, which seems to work out really well. But we held our critique groups at a book barn.
Okay.
Dan Dunkley, the owner of a book barn, was listening from downstairs, and every now and then he'll listen to the stories and he'll come up and he'll look at one of us and say, I want to do that book. And this happened to be one of the books that he decided he would like to publish. Yeah, and so it was like 4 years from beginning to end. And being a small publishing company, it didn't take another year for it to come out. Dan worked with me, found an illustrator. We went through the process of editing it, and within a couple of months, or 3 or 4 months, the book was out.
Wow. I want to talk more about that critique group. That's interesting. Can you think of like just 3 things that you've been able to take away from those groups?
Okay, critique groups. You listen. You sit there very politely, and when somebody is critiquing your book, when it's their turn to talk to you about your book, you write down what they say, you listen to them. You don't argue and say, yeah, but I wanted to, yeah, but I wanted to. No.
The but.
It's that. You take whatever criticism, not as criticism, but as a corrective way, an imaginative way to change your story if there's a way to change it. And everybody in my critique group is imaginative, and we have some very talented writers, so we encourage each other. We support each other. When somebody hears about a company with taking submissions, we submit. So it's a teamwork. So a critique group is not just me going there, I'm going to tell you my story, and you're going to say bravo, bravo. It doesn't work like that. No, it's you take the stories, you read them, and you give constructive criticism. And you take it back and you rewrite, and the next time you meet, you reread again, and eventually you get this, yeah, you did a good job, now you can, So,
relax.
Yes, you can start submitting and keep waiting.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because I have, obviously interview author after author after author, but I've never heard any of them talk about a critique group.
Oh, you don't do it alone.
Yeah.
You writing is not something where you sit down and say, I'm going to write a book. And some people can. There are talented people out there that do that. I need support.
Right.
And so a critique group is your support group.
Yeah.
It works out well.
What's next?
I've got 5 stories out there that I submit every month, and I have in my calendar. I sent this one out, and then they'll tell you if you don't hear from us within 3 months, that means we don't want it. So 3 months later in my calendar, I have, did I hear from? Nope. Time to submit it again.
Next one. Next company to look after.
I have concept books, colors and shapes. I've got a story about a forest fire. I've got a little boy who counts. There's lots of they're there. They're completed manuscripts. I'm just waiting for somebody to say yes.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Oh, yeah.
I want to ask you a little bit about obviously you were a teacher for how many years?
30 years.
30. So now, from going from teaching to kind of, I guess then you retired for a little while.
And then I went back.
And then you went back.
Yep.
What's this experience been like?
This one, it's really cool because you don't just stop with writing books. You start going to conferences, and as a team, as a group, we travel together. We go to conferences together, we learn, we share what we learn. We also look for vendor events, and we travel to vendor events together, so we support each other. So it's like a whole little family. We're together for knowledge and
right, and to grow.
And to grow, yes.
Is it hard? Do you think it could be harder writing a children's book than? You know where I'm going with that.
Yes, it is, absolutely.
Why?
Because you have to have a problem, solution, character, setting, and everything cut down and finalized in 500 words or less, where you have this wonderful, we all have this imagination where you want to tell everything, you want to put the reader in that meadow where you are. And in a picture book, you want to not tell them, you show them, and that's what the illustrator does. So you paint a picture with as few words as possible, and then it's handed over to the illustrator, and they take your words and they create the images around it.
Wow.
But it's hard. And when you start out with a 1,000-word manuscript, the first thing you hear is, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need that, get rid of this. So we learn how to cut, and get it down to size.
Yeah. I deal with the same thing writing for TV news. You know, you get a 2-page press release and you have to bring it down. You have to have everything in there.
Yes.
But
very concise.
Very concise.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then also, I would imagine, I mean, for children, like, you have to, as a teacher working with kids, you have to picture in your mind that they can understand this.
Yes. I have a manuscript, and what I do is I throw in big words. And my new manuscript is a little boy who's counting, so he goes on a journey, and where he is, there are several antique items. Velocipede is a bicycle. There's a monocle. So there's big words in there, and those are words that they learn from, what is that? Well, then Mom tells them what it is.
Yeah.
And another story, there's fears, agoraphobia, claustrophobic. I use those big words, but in the text, the reader learns what that big word is. See, now this book is kind of a special book because in the back of it, being a teacher, there is a whole curriculum guide based on California Common Core standards.
Oh, yes,
So
here it is. Yeah.
when I taught, one of the things I did when I taught was at parent conferences. Parents always said, what can I do besides read the book to my child? What else can I do? So I created the curriculum guide.
This is
And
great.
it goes over the Common Core standards, and this one goes over what standards are used in grades K, 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
And then behind it, there's vocabulary. So some of the big words in the story, there's vocabulary. And there is a script on how to teach vocabulary to kids. But it's not just for teachers, it's something parents can do. And then there's activity before you read the story, a pre-reading type thing. What do you think it's going to be about? Don't show the kids the cover. Tell them the title. Things like that. During reading, there's questions. After they're done reading, there are little projects to do. Those are things parents, not all parents, can think to do off the top of their head.
Right.
You read a story. So I've created something that if teachers want to use in their classroom, they can. If parents want to have something extra to enrich their kids, they can.
And they can. I love
Yeah.
it. Twisty Green Monster, again by Kathleen Gorman. You got to check it out. Hey, that looks good right there.
Yes,
that looks. I'm just gonna stay with this. I'm just gonna hide. Kathy writes for kids.com. That's an easy website. I love that website.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Whether you pick up this book, Twisty Green Monster, or your name your other three. Name your other all three of the other ones.
There's four. There's
Okay.
How Far is Heaven.
Okay.
So if you have anybody who's suffering from loss, that's a good book for kids on grief. Twisty Green Monster. Why so many rules? Kids have rules they have to follow. So does Kiwi. She's a little dog. So this is a lesson on addresses and remembering where you live. And then Mystery Hidden in a Name. If you don't know that one, you got to go to the 509 Post and check out the Mercy boxcar.
And if you haven't seen our interview, our last interview, go to our Central Valley Talk YouTube page, look it up. It's fascinating. I'd never even heard of the stories up until I met you. So.
And Facebook, Kathy Writes for Kids. If you have a question or you want to contact me, send me a private message and I will get back to you.
And you'll reach out. Very good. Good to see you again. Thank you.
Too. Thank you.
By the next time I see you, I'll do a book review, okay?
Yes.
I'm going to be reading this to my little girls tonight, so thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so much.
It. All right, I'm Austin Reed. You're watching Central Valley Talk. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We've got more guests in store for you, hanging out on this Wednesday morning across the San Joaquin Valley.